Welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Art of Letting Go live session. Let's, as usual, start with our email. There's an inspirational quote, some related teachings, and then we'll go into our lesson for today. And hopefully we'll have some time to do the Song of Prayer. So there's a section of the Song of Prayer, 6 paragraphs. Maybe we'll just skip what is the ego today. So, all right, let's go for it. Get that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you can read that quote. Is it big enough? Do you want me to expand it a little bit? There we go. Read the headline quote.
Yeah. Healing takes place when grievances are given ample and patient space to be acknowledged, when there is transparency and honesty, when everybody is given the chance to be heard, when nobody is excluded, when people can accept the energy of the conflict and use it as a major opportunity for growth.
Yeah, so a nice quote by Dr. Franco Santoro, who's the healer and founder of Astro Shamanism. We've sent the link there, so if you're interested, you can explore what Astro Shamanism actually is. Studied A Course in Miracles, interesting, connected to Findhorn Foundation, Scotland, which I visited. Gives you a powerful way to heal your grievances, conflict in which they result, by first acknowledging them. So it's key to, if you just deny the grievances exist before giving them ample and patient space to be acknowledged, as Franco Santoro puts it in the quote, it only sabotages the healing process, because denial before acknowledgement is called repression or suppression, and only compounds the emotional toxicity of the grievance. So you haven't really processed it. You just go, no, I'm just gonna deny this and shut it down, and that's called repression. And then it's there, but you haven't really acknowledged it. And we can do that so well that some people can repress things for years, or decades, even lifetimes, and not really deal with it. So David Hoffmeister uses the term metaphysical ghosting for the inappropriate use of denial based on the metaphysical idea that everything that happens in this world is illusory, in order to gloss over and avoid fully acknowledging the negative feelings that grievances are made up of, and so keep them repressed or suppressed in the subconscious mind and out of conscious awareness. So I go, well, it's all an illusion, so I don't really need to worry, so it's fine. Done, sorted. But actually, I've still got a lot of negativity in there. And that's just kind of covered it over, ghosted over, hence metaphysical ghosting idea. It's also called spiritual bypassing. So needless to say, this is not a healing approach at all. Will not release your grievances and help you to experience unconditional love and the peace and joy that flow from it. It's just another sneaky way your ego or belief in separation can try to sabotage any real healing of your mind in the guise of being so-called very spiritual, and achieve its objective, albeit only temporarily, but this delay in your healing may last a long, long time if you keep following its guidance. So eventually, you must deal with your stuff. Life will force you to, but you can delay, procrastinate that for a long, long time. So the metaphysics of truly letting go or forgiving all your grievances are literally mind-blowing. You do take some time to understand, because you cannot understand consciousness, as Einstein called in this profound quote. So if you can read that.
A human being is part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole nature in its beauty.
Yeah, amazing quote from a scientist. It's actually a very philosophical and spiritual quote, and really talking about the illusion, kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. So Einstein was understanding the nature of reality. This was an optical delusion of his consciousness. And it's a prison that restricts us to a very narrow world. And our task in this world is to embrace everyone and everything, every person, the whole of nature and its beauty, which is the universal experience of oneness. So that this quote doesn't have a lot to do with science at all, does it? This is a philosophical and spiritual quote, which is interesting because Einstein started life as a scientist, but became really a philosopher. At the end of his life, he was more a philosopher than a scientist, because I think he realized, he got to the top of the tree in science, and he realized the limitations of the purely scientific model, that it couldn't address things like this: compassion, love, the connection, feeling of oneness. Didn't have all the answers. And we've looked at the picture before. So you look at that picture, and you've seen it before, so you know it. But if anyone's watching, it looks like, for a lot of people, that when I first saw it, I saw a boat. I was like, oh, that's a boat, and that's an ocean at first glance. But then if you look again more carefully, you go, well, hang on, is that really a boat, or is that a cheesecake
or a shark?
Actually, it's well, yeah. There's other people who go, oh, that's some kind of shark, which is interesting as well. So you don't really see teeth there, but what it shows you is that, okay, there's at least three ways to interpret the same image. So what's reality? I see it one way, you see it another. Okay, it was a picture of a cheesecake, but that's by the by. The image can be interpreted in three ways at least, and possibly more. It's probably, if you showed it to, let's say, a sample of 100 people, you say, look at this for 5 seconds and then tell me what it is, you might get 10 different answers amongst all of them, or more. You don't know. Which shows you that the perceptual world is not reality. It's just perceptual. It's in people's minds. It's how they perceive it, but that's not absolute reality. It's purely perceptual. And so then we start seeing what he means. It's an optical delusion of consciousness. If you think that this is a boat or a shark, that's not the reality. That's not the truth. It's an optical delusion. So how do we know that that's not applying to everything we see? We interpret things. We go, that's how it is. But actually, it's our perception of how it is. Maybe we delude it, that it is not really that way at all, but we just think it is. And so we live in this false reality based on our own misperception. Maybe that's the truth. And this is obviously what Yeshua is teaching us. But that is actually the truth. We're living in this optical delusion. And so he stated this truth, that another level of thinking is required to solve all the significant problems we'll ever face, wonderfully succinctly in this way. So this is Einstein again. So this is probably my favorite quote of this. You can read that.
The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. Mm.
which is a profoundly wise quote. Really, Einstein is starting to understand that there are these two different orders of reality.
Mm.
Same level of thinking we had when we created them. How can you possibly solve the problems at that level? So he understood there's another level above that, maybe apparently many levels. If you look at our diagram here, the Holy Trinity diagram, I'm just going to do this again. I don't know why. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Don't ask me why. So Trinity, scroll down to it. The operating system for your life. So there you see the levels. These are the three major sort of levels. The level of form, that's the level of the problems Einstein's talking about. And if you can let those go, you can raise yourself up to the level of the true self of Christ, which can perceive these things correctly. And that's the level Einstein's talking about. And then there's another level that's beyond all levels, that is infinite absolute reality. The true self is just an extension of that reality. So, once you go above the true self, you go above all constructs and concepts of the mind into pure forms of what is perfect love. It isn't even a level. It's just a reality beyond all levels. But in this world, you have level one, this level of form, the level at which the problems are made. And then he's saying that there's another level at which you can transcend the problems. You can't solve the problems within the thought system that created them. In other words, in the same thought system of the box. If we look at this, this is the shows you the source of the problems. The source of the problem is separation. And then we go down the ladder of separation step by step into individuality and guilt and sin and fear, false expectation of punishment appearing real, and on and on it goes. And so now the source of all our problems in this world is the idea of separation. We can't solve those problems within the thought system of separation. That's what he's saying. You have to go beyond that idea of separation, which is the Holy Spirit's reinterpretation of reality, saying it is not true. So I can let it go, and I can be free of this, and stay rooted in my true self, which is just an extension of pure forms of awareness of perfect love. Even while these things are seemingly happening, I remain equanimous, I remain calm, I remain unmoved. And that's the level that Einstein's indirectly isn't. He doesn't specify, but he's referring to this miraculous level of being in the true self and being able to perceive then everything from the perspective of the true self, which knows that only oneness is true correctly. And then you can see a solution to the problem. Then you have options, and you can be guided, because fear shuts you down. Fear closes down your options. So the practice of letting go, I'm letting go of that fear, I'm letting go of the limitation ego wants me to believe in. And from this perspective, expanded perspective of the true self that knows that none of this stuff is really true, I can see it differently. And other things might come in. Okay, well, you could try that, you could do that. You're not stuck in one paradigm. There's other alternatives, there's other options. Whenever you find yourself getting stuck, the key thing is let go of the fear that keeps you stuck. Then you go to another level. From that expanded perspective, other options will present themselves inevitably. And so you flow forward. So, okay, I can make a move. I can do something. The Holy Spirit's saying, do this, do that. You don't get stuck. You keep moving forward in a guided way. Okay, so where are we? Let's go back to Lesson. So great quotes: "Infinite problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we're at when we created them." So because this is true, Yeshua has given us a very in-depth mind training course to help us raise the level of our thinking to a higher level. That's what he calls above the battleground of time and space, as he puts it in the course. So we can start to perceive everything in this world differently and experience unconditional love, deep peace, genuine joy, because he knows that full understanding of the truth will dawn on our minds when we have this universal experience of what true reality feels like. That's what he calls it, a universal experience. So exactly what we just looked at here. He's saying when you go above the battleground and you stay rooted in the true self that knows that only oneness is true, that there's only really one self ever present in this world, then you have a very different perspective on all the events, circumstances, successes and apparent failures and traumas and everything that seems to happen in the physical universe of time and space. A much wiser, calmer, more balanced, less reactive perspective. And from that perspective, then other options present themselves. You can be given the guidance to act in a truly wise way. You cannot find wisdom in the world's thinking. If you think that the world and all of its things and places and events and circumstances and situations are real, then there cannot be wisdom within that thought system. You need to raise yourself up above the battleground to find the wisdom of the Christ or the true self that's within you. So that's what this quote, as Einstein points to, very much in alignment with the teachings of the Course as we see it. So Yeshua, like any good teacher, meets us at the level of understanding we're at when we start his course, which is almost always in a state of not fully understanding the truth and experiencing unconditional love, deep peace, and genuine joy consistently, as he reassuringly says in the introduction to the workbook. He says, remember only this: you need not believe the ideas, you need not accept them, you need not even welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. Do not allow yourself to make exceptions and applying the ideas the work contains, and whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. So he's giving you the easy way to study his course and get maximum benefit. Simply practice the workbook lesson by following his instructions. Allow the universal experience of truth to arise automatically in your mind when you do that. To make your task even easier, I've given you a lot of support material. So you've got the meditations, the breath breaks that you get every day, customized to that particular lesson for the day to guide you through the longer and the shorter practice periods he recommends you do in the workbook lessons. So all you need to do is listen to these recordings, follow the instructions, and always ask you to notice any negative thoughts or emotions, in other words, grievances in your mind, and then let them go with the help of your breath. Some simple visualization techniques. So imagine it's like a dark cloud, black smoke, you blow it out, and practicing the workbook lesson for the day to start experiencing more and more love, peace, and joy. And this universal experience is the same experience all the saints, mystics, gurus, masters, and avatars who've ever lived have experienced and described. So never put them on a pedestal and make their accomplishments seemingly unattainable for a mere mortal like yourself in your perception, because it's yet another sneaky trick of the ego to keep you away from truth. You have exactly the same potential to experience truth as they do. Yeshua even says in section 2 of chapter 1 of the text that there's nothing about me that you cannot attain. I have nothing. Yeah, do you want to read that?
There is nothing about me that you cannot attain. I have nothing that does not come from God. The main difference between us as yet is that I have nothing else. This leaves me in a state of true holiness, which is only a potential in you.
Yeah, so if you translated that, does not come from pure formless awareness of perfect love. So nothing that does not come from pure formless awareness of perfect love. And this leaves me in a state of true we translate holiness as pure formless awareness. This leaves me in a state of pure formless awareness, which is only a potential. So he actually is in the state. With us, it's a potential. We have to let go of what blocks it, but he's already there. So he's saying, you can attain the same state as me, but to get there, you need to let go of your ego. And because I've done that, my ego, I can help you to do it with yours because I know how to do it. That's why I'm a teacher of God. So he's escaped, he's helped us, he's let go of the ego himself. He can show us how to do it. And that's what his course is designed to do. So therefore, it's not your potential for holiness or an alternative isolating language, pure formless awareness, but only your willingness to experience the truth of who you are that is different from spiritual masters like Yeshua. So he was just very incredibly willing. And because of his willingness, he was able to collapse the ego entirely and transcend it. The good news is that you don't need to understand much at this stage in your spiritual growth to practice the workbook lessons daily, as he also explains in lesson 9. So if you can read that.
Yeah. However, understanding is not necessary at this point. In fact, the recognition that you do not understand is a prerequisite for undoing your false ideas. Requisite, I should say. For undoing your false ideas. These exercises are concerned with practice, not with understanding. You do not need to practice what you already understand. It would indeed be circular to aim at understanding and assume that you have it already.
Which is very comforting. You don't need to understand perfectly. Just practice. Do the lesson. Read it, contemplate it, meditate on it. Even if you don't fully understand it, practice it, because in the practice, the understanding will come. And he says it would be circular to go, well, you're going to do this spiritual practice, but you already understand. You wouldn't need to do the practice if you really understood, would you? So actually, it's very simple, very straightforward. He's saying, just do the lessons, practice, and your understanding will grow as you go. And what I've found is as you go through the course again and again, it's like another level of understanding. Every time you do the lessons, you work through them. Okay, I'm getting this at a deeper level. I'm really understanding. And then next year, you go, actually, I just understood a little bit more. I got something different from it. So it has these what's called deeper levels of significance, which reveal themselves as you journey through the course. And that seems to be an ongoing process. I've done the workbook for 18 years. Every year, we just do it again. It's the same lessons, and yet, it's not a boring practice. It's not like, oh, well, I've kind of got this. I did this 18 years ago, and I kind of got a handle on it. It's like, no, it's a practice designed to reveal more and more of the truth to me, more, to connect me more and more with who I really am, let go of more and more illusions. And that's been iterative over many years. Can just continue shedding and letting go. And then 18 years later, you go, actually, a lot has changed compared with 18 years ago, 2006, when I started this. It's pretty profound change. Can't even remember how I thought then. A different person, completely different mindset, different attitude to life, complete transformation of ideas and awareness and attitude. And that's what this can facilitate if you just practice daily. Actually, a complete transformation in your thought system. I certainly didn't understand what I understand now, have a sense of perspective and be able to stay equanimous and unattached in the face of some of the challenges that inevitably come. And so over time, you just grow in your capacity. Yeah, I can just let go. and I can go with the flow, and you take it for granted. But other people go, wow, that's amazing. How do you do that? Well, I guess 18 years of practice and training, that's how you do it. It doesn't just happen. It's an ongoing process, and it's still not perfect by any means. I'm not saying like, I just always just let go straight away. And no, it's like, no, stuff comes up and you can feel, the fear or the anxiety or some anger maybe, but okay, very quickly, what happens now is this other awareness, the Holy Spirit comes in and says, no, 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 no. You don't want to do that. Remember the principles. Remember that that's taking you down a path you don't want to go down. It's pointless. It's futile. It's the path of pain, and it doesn't go anywhere. So it's just okay. You got to let this go, and then I'll do a meditation or breath break or practice in the lesson. It's like, okay. You got to just let whatever that thought and emotion is go and let it just kind of process through. And I guess the more you do that, the easier it becomes. That starts to become, how you deal with challenge. Well, if you don't hold on to it, you practice letting go. And like any practice, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Practice makes perfect. And you will come to a full understanding of the Course in Miracles lessons and text and the whole message. Just to become aware that God, or the pure form of source of perfect love, as we translate the word in our translations of the workbook and text, is your true awareness. And stay rooted in that awareness, pure form of source, perfect love, for much of your remaining time on earth, if you're just wanting to keep practicing. So the practice is to keep yourself coming back to that awareness. When you depart, you bring yourself back. It's like, the airplane analogy. When the airplane goes marginally off course, then it gets brought back by the navigation system. Okay, a little crosswind blew it half a degree off course, and then there's a correction instantly, and it gets brought back on track. And so, it stays on track to its destination. So that's what we've got to do. When we get knocked off briefly, the winds have changed, blow us, then okay, bring yourself back to center, the middle way, where you're connected to your source and you're on track, you're on your at-one-ment path. And only letting go will do that. If you don't let go, then you go more and more off track, because one illusion builds on another. Before you know it, you've gone down the ego's track, and that's in the opposite direction from spirit. So it's like now you've turned around. Use the flight analogy. You haven't just gone 1 degree or 2 degrees off course. You've actually turned around, going the opposite direction. You don't even know it. So you never get to your destination, because how can you get to a destination when you fly in the opposite direction from it? So just keep practicing, really, the lessons. This is a process. It's a work in progress, as you say. It's a process. It can take many years. Many levels of awakening can happen. And you're just patient with yourself. Okay, well, I'm going to practice and I'm going to keep learning, keep being willing, and whatever I need to learn will be revealed when I need it. And I'd say these live sessions are a very important part of the practice, because they bring it all into a focus. You get an guided experience for a couple of hours a day, sometimes a bit longer, and also help with interpreting. Okay, so what do these things actually mean? And so that's the accelerated learning. If you just do it on your own, you just do the lessons and you meditate, that's great. Do that. But I've seen that the biggest shifts is people, yourself, who's joined a lot. You, Sally, John, to an extent, he's never been as well. First year, yeah, that John and Sue were the regulars. They join every day, and then you do see shifts. The more people join, you see the changes. Definitely in their thinking, and just in how they speak, how they act, how they look. It's you can notice it.
Yeah.
So just keep showing up, doing your own practice outside of these sessions, doing the sessions, and that keeps you on track. You can't go terribly off course if you do a daily live session like this, because you'll be corrected in the session. That's how it works. Well, whatever illusion or delusion is troubling you, it will come up in the session. You'll be asked to correct it by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You know how it works. You just seem to get whatever you need in these sessions. All right, so that leads us to where we are now in the live session. It's good. So shall we jump into our lesson for today, which is 333? Okay, so what is the ego? Do you want to read this, or should we skip it?
Yeah, can we skip it? Yeah, because
skip it today. All right, so
yeah,
read just a lesson 333 in the original and alternative, starting with the key idea.
Yeah. Forgiveness ends the dream of conflict here. Letting go ends the dream of conflict here.
Yeah, very simple statement, really. Forgiveness or letting go ends the dream of conflict. Why? Because when you let go of the conflict in your mind, there's no longer conflict. It's as simple as that. It's in your mind. Whatever's happening on the level of form, situation is as it is. But am I perceiving it in a conflicted way? Am I perceiving it as conflict, or have I let it go? So I've got a situation now, someone owes me some money. I suspect he probably won't pay. So I can perceive it as a conflict and go, right, now like I'm in conflict mode and I see him as an enemy, and I've got to try and win the conflict by forcing him to pay. It's one way of doing it.
Solicitors and all those things, yeah.
Yeah, I could just go, right. Well, I've asked him firmly. So, and if he doesn't, then I have a choice. I can just let it go. So, all right, so the dream of conflict ends here. It was an apparent conflict, but that conflict's only in my mind because I have an expectation that he should pay me. I've done work and he agreed to. So okay, well, that's how business works. There was an agreement. I did the work. But if he doesn't, then I have a choice to drop the conflict in my mind. So, okay, well, there's no point in dwelling in conflict. And then you get stuck into conflict, and then, over an issue, and then it sabotages other things because now your time and energy is consumed by that conflict, and it's not free to. There's an opportunity cost to the conflict because it's not free to look at other opportunities and be more expensive. So that's why it almost always it makes sense to let go, because on a practical level as well as mentally, emotionally, it always makes sense mentally, emotionally, because you're free. But practically, so well, actually free up time and energy for other things. So then you open the door to other opportunities, which might bring you in that time that you would have spent trying to recover, in this case, money that you thought you were owing. In that time, you could have done something else, which could have brought you much more, potentially much more opportunity. So it's the opportunity cost of not letting go, which is why letting go, in my view, is the greatest and most unknown X factor in business. So if you can really let go, then it's like rocket fuel for the success of the business. It's not something they'll teach you at business school, is it? Right. So the key that you have to learn in your MBA is you need to know how to let go, no matter what happens. Do they teach that? No.
No.
When we go, what? What are you crazy? No, the key is, you need to learn how to, manage correctly. You need to learn various model, whatever. You need to learn all kinds of stuff too. Not one simple thing. You need to learn to let go. So I'd actually like to found a business course based on Course in Miracles principles, where you teach it from a spiritual perspective. You say, business is primarily a spiritual practice. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual path. And what you have to learn through it is to let go And business will give you great opportunity to let go, because inevitably things are not always going to go right. And you will be tested and you will be challenged. And I imagine a business course like that.
Yeah.
Hugely valuable, because you're actually teaching people a very practical technique for dealing with the inevitable difficulty that are going to arise in business. In a business school, they teach you the theory. They don't teach you about, oh, well, there's all kinds of guys who will, they'll say things and then they won't do it, and they won't perform, and they'll potentially be dishonest, and, people can steal, lie, and cheat. They don't teach you that. How do you deal with that? So it's not realistic. It's like, yeah, it's all theory. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to work in theory. But you get out into practice, even if you're in the corporate world, it's like, okay, well, I'm in a proper company and there's sort of corporate governance and various, we play by the rules and so on. He's oppressive, and he's got a huge ego, and he's just trying to, boost his ego by controlling you. Or the colleague who's going to backstab you to try and get the promotion over you, etc. They don't teach you that, and that's all actually what that's what the primary content of our lives is, of our business lives. There's the various challenges and lessons that go along with it. Okay, so if you can read paragraph 1 in the original and the alternative line by line, sentence by sentence, please.
Conflict must be resolved. Conflict must be resolved. It cannot be evaded, set aside, denied, disguised, seen somewhere else, called by another name, or hidden by deceit of any, if it would be escaped. It cannot be evaded, set aside, denied, disguised, perceived to be somewhere else, called by another name, or hidden by deceit of any kind, if it is to be escaped.
I think I'm going to change this actually. Cannot evade. Let's make it, instead of the passive, let's make it active. Conflict must be resolved. So I must, because if you make it active, it's much more like impactful. I must resolve. Must resolve any conflict. Experience. I cannot evade, set aside, deny, disguise, perceive. Evade, set aside, deny, disguise, or perceive it to be somewhere else. Called by another name, hidden by deceit of any kind. Let's say if I'm to escape it, stick that there. If I am to escape it, cannot evade, set aside, deny, disguise, or perceive it to be somewhere else. Called by another name, hidden by deceit of any kind. Okay. Number 3,
it must be seen exactly as it is, where it is thought to be in the reality which has been given it, and with the purpose that the mind accorded it. I must perceive it exactly as it is, where I have thought it to be in the reality which has given it, and with the purpose that the mind has assigned to it.
Reality which I have given it, the purpose that my mind has assigned to it. Yeah. So I must be really, what he's saying is I must be very honest with myself. There's
Yeah.
conflict, I must see that it's actually coming from me, exactly as it is. This is a symptom of my inner conflict. I'm conflicted. Conflict is just a symptom of that inner conflict. It's expressed outwards. Okay, now I'm starting to see it truly. Be honest, I can't blame anyone else. Only then are its defenses lifted.
Yeah, for only then are its defenses lifted, and the truth can shine upon it as it disappears. For only then are its defenses lifted, and the truth can shine upon it to make it disappear. I must I must resolve my conflict I experience. If I am to escape it, I cannot evade, set aside, deny, disguise, or perceive it to be somewhere else, called by another name, or hidden by deceit of any kind. I must perceive it exactly as it is, where I have thought it to be, in the reality which I have given it, and the purpose that my mind has assigned to it. For only then are its defenses lifted, and the truth can shine upon it to make it disappear.
Yeah.
So what it's saying is,
Remember that?
yeah, so we need ourselves to resolve our own conflict that we experience if we want to escape it. But if we don't, and we deny and disguise it to be somewhere else, then, well, that's like suppression and repression. And I thought it would be.
Yeah, and I must be honest. It's really the key. I must be completely honest with myself about it. So I can't ghost over it. This thing related to there's a metaphysical ghost. I'll go, oh, well, okay, so I'm just going to push that down and say, oh, okay, it's fine. But actually, that inner conflict has not been resolved. It's very much there, if I'm honest. So I've really got to go into it and resolve it. It appears to be an outer conflict, so I seem to have a conflict with someone or something else outside me. Actually, I've got to go, no, the real conflict is within. It's between my true self and my ego. And this is just a symptom of that conflict. I think I'm in conflict with someone else because I'm still in conflict with myself. So the way out of that is just the thoughts and emotions around the conflict. So conflict tends to breed fear, anger, hatred, attack, thoughts, and so on. Well, when you let those go, then you're saying, I'm dropping the inner conflict. I no longer want those thoughts and emotions in my mind. When I drop those, then the outer conflict often resolves. Well, what's actually behind that outer conflict is these inner unresolved emotions that I've got to let go of. So as within, so without. I let go within, and often then outside the conflict resolves and just disappears. Okay.
Yep. Father, forgiveness is the light. You choose to shine away all conflict and all doubt, and light the way for our return to you. My source, letting go brings the pure formless awareness that you are to shine away all conflict and doubt, and light the way for my return to you. No light but this can end our evil dream. Only this awareness can end my evil dream. No light but this can save the world. Only this awareness can free the world. For this alone will never fail in anything being your gift to your beloved Son. For this awareness alone will never fail in anything being your gift to your beloved extension. And from the top.
Yep.
My source, letting go brings the pure formless awareness that you are to shine away all conflict and doubt and light the way for my return to you. Only this awareness can end all my evil dream. Only this awareness can free the world. For this awareness alone will never fail in anything, being your gift to your beloved extension. So we're appealing to our source, and by doing this, it's letting go and bringing this pure formless awareness in to shine away all the conflict and to be aware of this, to end our evil dream. And then the awareness can free the world. And this awareness will never fail. It's our gift. And to all of our extensions.
In your gift, your beloved extension. And the light is this pure form of awareness. So we translate it. Only this awareness will work. Nothing else will work.
Yeah.
So our job is to invite this awareness in, consciously invite it in to our awareness, so it becomes our awareness more and more. Okay. So yeah, any thoughts? Any other thoughts on that lesson? Good.
Yeah, it's good.
A good lesson about conflict, focusing in on the idea of conflict.
Yeah. And it never ceases
Saying,
in
the
the
answer
dream world.
lies in letting go if you're only in a conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dream world is about conflict. Inevitably.
And it never ends. It never ends.
Yeah, exactly. It's never ending conflict. And just when one conflict's resolved, another one comes.
Another one pops up, or two. Yeah.
Or two, because that's the consequence of separation is that conflict must happen. If minds believe that they're separate and that they have separate interests, then inevitably conflict must arise between those apparently separate minds. And so that's why conflict is endemic. It's entrenched in this world. We have conflict is seen as a normal part of life. Conflict resolution, we have lawyers, we have all these structures deal with conflict. Lawyers, a legal system, and so on, because it's absolutely entrenched in the ego system. Seems to be inevitable. But he's saying, hang on, that's just a dream. If you can really let go of your own inner conflict, which means that you let go of those thoughts and emotions as they arise that are triggered by the seemingly external conflicts. So you let go of those as they arise, you find peace anyway. Then you end the dream of conflict because there's no more conflict in your mind. the external circumstances. There might still be conflict. You might still have a situation going on, with someone, or maybe there's a war going on, or whatever. But actually, in your mind, you've got a conflict. You're not in conflict. So that dream of conflict is over for you, which is all that really matters. People say, "Oh, but you've got to be realistic. How can you just ignore the war in the Ukraine or the war in Israel?" Because what impact do they have on your life? Really, unless you're embroiled in. If you live in those countries, it may be harder because okay, there's a war going on around you. There's
it's right
shells
in
and
front of your
bullets.
face. Yeah.
Okay, harder, but still, even in that extreme situation, you can let go and you can find a sense of peace. Go, well, whatever happens, even if I die, yeah, but if I die, I'm going to die anyway, so it's okay. I'm not scared of death. And if I survive, then all right, we'll find a way. The war will end, or maybe we leave, go somewhere else. But I stay peaceful and calm because I realize the conflict isn't real. The external war is just a mirror of my internal struggle. And once if I'm willing to let that go, then I'm ending the conflict for myself. It's not a thought system that most people will adhere to because they're still too externally oriented. They're going, well, how can you possibly end all conflict in the world? That's ridiculous. Look, it's everywhere. And we've always got these wars going on. And so how can letting go end the dream of conflict? Because they see it, as external. But it ends the dream of conflict in your own mind. Which is the only place you really can end. And then accordingly, your life is peaceful and happy. And you become an example of someone who's who's at peace, who's not in conflict, which is inspiring. You see, show people that it's possible. So major lessons if this conflict is so entrenched. You find just when you think, well, no, I've really let go of my conflict now, I'm at peace, and somebody else comes to test you. Oh, okay, what about that?
Yeah.
And then the idea of conflict arises in your mind again. And when that does, it's like an inner feeling of resistance, isn't it? You've got to be aware of it. Go, okay, but remember, this is just the ego bringing up the idea of conflict again, so that it's, of course, what it wants. That's why there's so much conflict in this, because the ego needs it in order to create the resistance that makes it real. So that's why conflict is entrenched in the egoic world. It's necessary for the ego survival. So once you understand that, it becomes much simpler to deal with it, doesn't it? Okay, it's just a setup. Conflict's just another part of the setup of the dream world. All right. So we have some choices, Elaine. If you want to end by 9 o'clock your time, we can do a meditation and end it there. If you want to go into the Song of Prayer, this one is on praying for others. We can do that. It's about 6 paragraphs, I think. 6 medium-sized paragraphs, and then summary. So they'll probably take us longer than half an hour, I'm guessing. We might take an hour for this.
I think I'll do the meditation today, and then I'll read this in the morning because it's on the Telegram.
I'll post it to the group.
Yeah, I'll have a good read then. Yeah, I could do with it. Yeah, the meditation would be good actually. I'd like to read this, of course, but at the moment, I think a meditation sounds good.
All right. Okay, so let's go to that. Okay, so this is a meditation on lesson 333. Forgiveness ends the dream of conflict here. or letting go ends the dream of conflict here, as you choose. So just make yourself comfortable, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, cup the hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through your nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and chest rises. And the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale, smile. In your mind, various thoughts, emotions. Related body sensations going on. Not just particularly any ideas of conflict. If there's any conflict in your life, anyone or anything, any maybe conflict with the weather, just notice that any resistance is conflict. So go into that briefly, feel it, breathe into a nice deep breath in. Through the nose. Remind yourself that forgiveness or letting go ends the dream of conflict. Here. Breathe in the forms to what is a perfect love, and letting go reveals every pore of your cell, your body, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. And letting go ends the dream of conflict here. And you exhale. Just blow it out with the breeze of your breath till nothingness really is. Just going, gone. Follow the stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And let it all go. Blow it all away. Find some peace and stillness. On the exhale. You don't know what else to go, what else to do. Just gonna breathe, relax, be still. Repeat these words after me. So speak the words, breathe in as I do that. And when I pause, you exhale through your nose and you speak the words as an affirmation of the truth, because they translated versions in the first person to become an affirmation. So breathing in, let's deep inhale breath. Exhale, inhale breath. Bring one hand in your heart center to connect with your heart. That helps. Exhale, inhale breath. Listen to these words. So you hold the breath briefly. So I must resolve any conflict I experience. Conflict must be resolved as the original. I must resolve any conflict I experience. And exhale through your nose and repeat those words. I must resolve any conflict I experience. Breathing in again. If I am to escape it, I cannot evade, set aside, deny, disguise, or perceive it to be somewhere else, called by another name, or hidden by deceit of any kind. If I am to escape it, I cannot evade, set aside, deny, disguise, or perceive it to be somewhere else, called by another name, or hidden by deceit of any kind. Repeat those words as you exhale. Breathing in again. I must perceive it exactly as it is, where I've thought it to be, in reality which I've given it, and not the purpose that my mind has assigned to it. So exhale through your nose. I must perceive it exactly as it is, where I've thought it to be, reality which I've given it, the purpose that my mind has assigned to it. And exhale. So the call to be very, very honest with yourself. See it exactly as it is. Strip away all your illusions about it. Only then are its defenses lifted, and the truth can shine upon it to make it disappear. So have a sense of lifting the defenses. The breath lifts them, the truth shines upon it through the defenses to make it disappear. Conflict disappear. So imagine it's like a black cloud, dark smoke. And it rises. And you exhale, let it go. Just blowing those clouds away, and imagine the brilliant sunlight, sunshine, just shining through the clouds. The clouds are dissipating, just going gone to the nothingness they really are. So stay with prayer. Final prayer for the lesson. Breathe in again. So my source, my letting go brings pure formless awareness that you are to shine away all conflict and doubt. So feel again that you're just letting go all thoughts and emotions, basic body sensation. So you exhale, letting go brings pure formless awareness that you are. Shine away all conflict and doubt, and light the way for my return to you. And you exhale. Only this awareness can end my evil dream. Okay. Only this awareness can free the world. So breathe this awareness in, pure formless awareness, perfect love into every pore. Every cell and muscle of your body, every part of your mind. Every fiber of your being is in the light. This awareness alone will never fail in anything. Being your gift, your beloved extension. This awareness alone will never fail in anything. Being your gift, your beloved extension. Sail. Blow out any dark thoughts, any conflict thoughts. Like a black smoke, a dark cloud leaving you. Leaving your body, leaving your mind, leaving your energy system. Blowing it all away with the breeze of your breath. To reveal the blue sky. Just pristine, pure, not a cloud in the sky. It's brilliant white light, sun shining through it. Just use this image to feel into this expansive awareness. Feel the awareness that can free the world. It'll never fail in anything. It comes from your source as a gift to you, its beloved extension. And so just sink inwards, go inwards to the light, feel the pure formless awareness of perfect love, and just feel the love, peace, and joy. Surrender into that experience for the next minutes of deep contemplative silence. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. Surrender into this awareness. Pure formless awareness of perfect love. Next couple of minutes of deep contemplative silence. Any thoughts come in, especially conflict thoughts return. Just imagine they're like black clouds. They're just drifting by. They have no real impact, no effect on the blue sky, which remains unaffected by them, or the sun, which is your source, shining through the blue sky of your pure formless awareness. So just breathe that pure formless awareness and the light of your source in. It's a nice deep breath. Imagine it infusing your mind, your body, every pore of your cell, every muscle, part of your mind, every fiber of your being. In the light. Breathe in the light, accept it, embrace it, and know that no opposite truly exists. There's no opposite to the light. There's no conflict. Just letting go ends the dream of conflict. In this world. So exhale. And just blow it all out. Let it all go. Nothingness as really is. Blow it all out, let it all go. And just sink inwards again to the light. Pure formless awareness. Just to allow yourself to experience this state fully, wholly, and completely for another couple of minutes of deep, peaceful silence. So just gently coming back, this deep state of pure formless awareness, perfect love, beyond all conflict, and bringing the awareness, part of your awareness back into the body, senses, the breath, and by that into the world. So one, just breathing in, and seeing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause and scan your mind. Using thoughts, emotions, right, and body sensations. Anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting, conflicted in any way, just blow it out. And yourself letting go. Go is key to ending conflict. Letting go ends the dream of conflict. Yeah. Feel that conflict leaving you. It's going, gone with the breath. Follow stomach into the spine. Smell the last remaining air out. Just rest a few moments in this calm, quiet, peaceful state. State in mind, not illusions. State in which only the truth is true. Stay rooted in the state. Think of the state in for the rest of the evening. Carry it with you into your bed, sleep, and on into tomorrow. Use the lesson to help you do that. Find any conflict thoughts coming in, just find yourself letting go ends the dream of conflict here. Let it go, blow it away. Breathe through your breath. Nothing as it really is. It's going, gone. And now on the count of three, you open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around, observing objects in the room around you in this very casual, detached way. Make no attempt to select or avoid anything, just whatever happens to be there, rest your eyes upon it briefly. And notice the underlying piece that's there. If you don't judge it, name it, or label it, just this deep underlying piece. Close your eyes briefly, whether you connect with a piece a bit more deeply, but notice that it's essentially the same piece. Then open your eyes, look at something else, whatever that may be. Notice the same piece when your eyes are closed or open, and do that for another half a dozen objects, just for a few seconds at a time, noticing that underlying every perception of it, visual sense, and other senses, touch, taste, and hearing. is this deep peace. And called the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, the grounded being by some philosophers. It's what ends all conflict. In this peace, there is no conflict. So just anchor that peace in, stay connected to it. Use the lesson to help you stay there. And wishing you a very peaceful rest of your evening and sleep. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of tonight's session, which is bang on 9 o'clock. All right, so
Okay, thank you.
thanks, Elaine.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll
Very good.
yeah. See you tomorrow. Should we do a evening session tomorrow? Afternoon or evening? I think evening would be better for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, same time.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Yep. See you then. That's great.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Namaste.
Just
Good night. Bye.
Namaste. Okay, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine for joining, making the session possible as always. Any of you who listened in on the live stream, if you'd like to dive in and join us on our journey this year, how to start the Art of Letting Go course, which is the introduction to the Art of Letting Go program. It's a 6-week transformational course starting in February, 12th of February for 6 weeks. So if you want to find out more about that, you feel like you need a little shift in your mindset, a life change, and join us for the free masterclass, the Art of Letting Go masterclass I'll be running this Sunday evening. So just go to the AOLG.com to find out more, and you can register that, book your place. So yeah, hope to see you then. You can also go to lifepool.com if you'd like to sign up to receive all the material that I shared up front, the inspirational quote and daily lesson, and I send out a short breath break to help you practice the lesson on Telegram every day. So go to lifebuild.com, lifebuild.com to do that. And finally, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed and you enjoyed this video and you'd like to be notified whenever we go live with more videos, which is every day except Saturday. So hit the subscribe button, and I hope to catch you on the inside in the masterclass soon. The links should all be below. If you're watching this video on YouTube, in the comments box, you'll see the links. I mentioned the AOLG.com and lifebuild.com. So you can just click them and you'll be taken to the sites where you can do the necessary. Okay, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you again for watching, listening, and I hope to catch you on the inside soon. Namaste. Which means the peaceful self in me acknowledges and honors that same peaceful self, the true self in you. Peace.